All right, welcome to Jack Dodson's Racing Insider News this week, presented by Papa John's. Man, we can't. Me and Jack's been chowing down, so if you're fortunate enough to come on the show, you get a couple slices of pizza thanks to Papa John's, and I really can't.
That's right.
Thank those guys enough for that. Got to thank our marketing partners. Really can't. We could not. We would not be here without them.
Hello, Andrew.
Or maybe we would be here, but we wouldn't. It wouldn't be nearly as nice.
Or fun.
Or fun, yeah, absolutely. Langley Speedway. Really can't thank Bill and Vaughn and Chuck and those guys for allowing us to do the show here. We really do enjoy doing the show and doing it here. And Langley's kind of become a home.
That's right.
To be honest. Performance Plus Motor Oil. Jack gets nothing out of this deal.
Nothing. Zero. Nothing. This is all Scott.
Safety Clean.
Again, all Scott.
Performance Plus. Got to thank those guys. They take care of us on the race car side and for Courthouse Imports. Black Acid Apparel. Those guys, we have a banner somewhere.
We got a banner. I got it down in the car. We just got to put it up in here. We just ain't never done it. I mean,
but got to thank those guys. If you need, I've said it 100 times. You need, just a couple of shirts for your team, or if you want 1,000. And the other nice thing is too, if you wanted some shirts done, and of course everybody wants a shirt from you, you can just say, hey, go to Black Acid Apparel. They can go right on their website. They can order whatever they want to and buy it themselves, and you don't have to worry about giving a bunch of free shirts away, because it's expensive to give those shirts away.
Yeah, but we do have a couple shirts that we need to do something with. Ones of our pictures on it, everybody laughs at.
I know my wife said I was a narcissist because I was wearing a shirt with my face on it. Factory canopies, man. Another guy. If you want a car cover or you want one of those tents to put your car in,
chairs.
I mean, whatever you want for your race team, they do a lot of that stuff. Check out those guys, factorycanopies.com. What you can talk to, what's her name?
Andrea Calkins.
Andrea, and what's his name?
Todd Davis.
Todd Davis is the owner. Tell him we sent you. Call him direct. His phone number is on the website.
Right.
You can literally call his cell phone. Say, hey Todd, Jack and Scott said to call you. I need whatever I want, whatever. Todd will take care of you. Another big announcement. We got MPM Marketing. She is the official. What is it?
Marketing
for the Cars Tour. She's the official marketing company for the Cars Tour. That's a big deal. So congrats to Tanya McAllister for that. That's a big deal. Pepsi, man, they supply us with some drinks. Me and Jack like to drink sodas, so really got to thank those guys. Bondurant Brothers Distillery. Really need.
I got to go down there.
We got to get some more shine, Jack.
I know. I'm gonna go talk to him.
And then we got, one day we got to do. Tell him when we get some more stuff, we can do some promotion, and we'll have a drinking game as we're.
I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
If somebody says whatever, the whole show, everybody's got to take a drink. Even if you're watching, you got to take a drink. I think that'd be funny. We'll see how drunk everybody is at the end of the night. GAC, Great American Company. Those guys are on board for 2022. Can't thank those guys enough. NC811. Really got to thank Brian Morehouse would 811. He is really
AKA Lug Nut.
He's really done a lot to help us and help market us and some stuff in the background. So we really got to thank those guys. With that, Jack's got the news. Let's see. Actually, there's one or two things I wanted to touch on. The MPM Marketing was one, and the other is Dave Millard's 9-pin no tap fundraising tournament. I'm not a bowler, so I know what 9-pin is. I don't know what no tap means.
I also know it's not a team game.
Yeah, we found that out, didn't we?
I got told that, bro. I mean, came over here on this, and then I also got a text So yeah, I found that.
So
out.
February, come support my buddy. February 13th, 10 o'clock. Everybody signs up at 9, so be there at 9 so you can get signed up. It's all individuals. It's all for fun.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, I can't.
You want some fun? Go watch Scott Bowl. That's
Hey,
what you're trying to say.
As good a shape as Dave is, he could probably still outbowl me right now. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to laugh at everybody. It's going to be a good time. 90%, or I think it's even more than that, proceeds are going to go to Dave's fund, which it's on there. So please come. Let's have some fun. Let's have a few drinks. We'll have a lot of laughs, and we'll support our friend. I mean, I don't know anybody in the pits here that doesn't know Dave, and I don't know anybody that's ever said anything bad about Dave. I mean, they could. Well, man, they might have said something bad about him spotting for me. Like,
You said, where's it at? Johnny Jones said, Jesse Jones said, where's it at?
It's going to be at the Spare Times Bowling Center in Hampton. So it's right up the street. So it's real close.
Yeah.
So it'll be a lot of fun, man. Let's come out. Let's have some fun. I think it'll be a great time. Heck, I might even come bowl in my suit.
All right, now we're getting a little deep. Now we need to go ahead and. Yeah, Andrew. My plan is to come down there, but I'm gonna wait and see how the weather looks and everything as we go.
Greer, yes. not as good. I drive better than I bowl, so it'll be funny.
Dave Adams, I'm sorry to hear about your dad. I hope he's doing better.
Yes.
I heard he had some health setbacks. I see where you said he had some health setbacks.
And they started racing together, so that's a big deal.
And he is Dave's hero. And I've met him a few times when I went down there, and he's a lot smarter and a lot brighter than Dave.
Dave, I'm sorry. Yes, I'll agree. I posted a picture of Papa John's, right? Morehouse says the next sponsor needs to be Planet Fitness. That's a fact.
Andrew says the weather for Saturday is fine. Rain just on Friday. Okay, that makes it better, but I hope I can. I still want to come. I want to be down there for that. So yeah. I hope Dave is able to make it. I hope your dad's getting better where you can maybe make it over there for that. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's do the Smiths Wraps and Graphics racing roundup from this past week.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
Say it again.
The Smiths Wraps and Graphics racing roundup. Be sure if you want to Wraps and Graphics, go by and talk to Billy Smith. I have been looking at all these cars that they keep coming out of there all the time.
Does it do anything else?
I don't know, but I'm going to tell you
I think all he's doing is race cars.
I'm going to tell you what. He had a board full that still ain't got to yet.
Yeah.
So,
did you notice on the board that there was a person that had his name up there with a modified and a late model?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah. I wouldn't call out Matt.
Matt Carter. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
He's got a modified and a late model?
It was on the board up there, and somebody said, Matt, is there something you need to tell us? And nobody, I hadn't seen anything else about it, so I don't know if anybody else caught that.
Yeah. What? We'll see. All right. In our Smiths and Wraps and Graphics, this weekend is the first test of the new next-gen car out at the Busch Clash, or whatever they call it now, Busch Light Clash, or Racing Clash, or all I know is there's probably going to be some crash in the Clash.
You think?
But that's going to be this Sunday, so everybody turn in and watch that. As Andrew and I were talking about down at Florence, this coming weekend is the Icebreaker weekend down in Florence. That's going to be a big weekend. I've already seen like 33 late models already signed up for it.
That's crazy.
And so that's pretty wild.
And thanks to CorvettesParts.net for putting that on. And they've been a big supporter of a lot of it. So really shout out to them. Or go and like any of these sponsors that are putting up money for these big races or supporting these divisions, go and like their Facebook page.
And in a few minutes, we're going to have Kirk Ipock coming on, talking about his big announcement down at Southern National for the Thanksgiving Classic down there this year, and what all is going on. We were going to have Mike Diaz, but Mike Diaz, I understand, is sick and won't be able to be with us. So we are going to have Kirk standing in for him and talking about it. Down at Crisp Motorsports Park in Cordell, Georgia, they had the Speed Fest 150 this past weekend. The Super Series or the Super Late Model Series, I guess you would call it. Bubba Pollard got the win. Second place, Chandler
I
Smith.
want to see Bubba Pollard come here for the Hampton Heat.
That would be
that
nice.
Dude is a beast.
So I like it. Yeah,
and he's a big guy. Most big guys are. Most of the good race car drivers, a lot of them are small guys for the most part. But Bubba's a big guy. He ain't the guy you need to spit out.
And he goes right along with that name, Bubba.
Well, that's true.
Carson Hocevar finished third. Jake Garcia fourth. Corey Heim finished fifth. In the pro late models, the All-Stars as they call them down there, Mike Hines got the win. Cole Williams finished second. Dylan Betchko finished third. Cody Hall finished fourth. And Giovanni Ruggiero finished fifth. They also had the mods down there. I did not get a rundown on who won the race for the modifieds or anything. But I did see that Chris Johnson finished sixth out of 20 cars down there. So that's a pretty good deal down there for him. Big announcement coming out of Leland Honeyman Jr. Now here's a kid that we've known for a long time, a little snot-nosed kid.
I know. We're very fortunate to meet some of these kids. Him, Rajay, and
before they got big, yeah. Mm-hmm. But Leland Honeyman is going to be running a full-time ARCA series this year with Young's Motorsports. That's going to be it's ARCA East. I'm not ARCA, but it's ARCA East, and that's going to be a big deal for him. He's also got right now he has one truck race lined up.
I didn't see that.
And hopes for more. And he still will be running the Carolina Pro Late Model Series.
Is that Young's 2 in the truck series?
Yes, it's Young's 2 in the truck series. So that's a big deal. So I think it'll be a good deal for him. Congratulations to him. And he will be on the show next week when Scott won't be.
Is he filling in for me?
Well,
he'd be perfect for that.
No, I was going to make the announcement at the end of the show who's filling in for you. Yeah.
Who's
I've already got somebody hooked up. I'm not really sure.
Y'all are getting hooked up?
No. You're going to be a smart ass. I didn't go there. But he's going to come on and help me out next week. It's going to be fun because hopefully I can get him to tell some of his jokes on here next week.
Some of his jokes?
Yeah. He's really big in the TikTok world. So I think you know who I'm talking about.
It'll be a good time.
So that's what I'm looking for. It's me. Sorry.
He's TikTok famous.
So what was that? Bubba said he was done with late model after Martinsville last year. But well, anyway.
He wasn't a fan of all those things done there. Well, I agree. I would love to see him come here and run.
Yeah, me too.
Against, on the Hampton Heat when all the big guys are coming. I want to go back and I know Anthony said he's going to watch the race on Flow this weekend. It's too cold. Go back and touch on Greer's. What do we think about Floyd Mayweather in NASCAR? I think any of these big names is a big deal to come into the sport.
Yeah.
It's a great time. It seems like it's a great time to come into the sport right now. The demand is high because charters just 2 years ago were going for $2 or $3 million. They're going for $20, $25 million. And I've heard figures that were turned down in that range that somebody said no, they wouldn't sell. Crazy the amount of money is going into NASCAR in the Cup Series right now. I think it's huge. I think it's positive. I can't wait to see what he brings to the racing. As we got. I can't want to say Spire Motorsports, but it's not. What's his name? We've got Pitbull that's involved. Trackhouse, yeah. I mean, Trackhouse is bringing a different way of running a race team. They're in Nashville. The team, the hard nuts and bolts part of the team, are they over on the complex with Childress? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know if they're running Childress.
Trackhouse?
Yeah.
Trackhouse is not. Trackhouse is in the old Ganassi building.
Oh, that's right. Now they are. Yeah. They're renting that from Hendricks. Hendrick bought it. So I'm assuming they probably. I don't know. Well, I don't know if they have any affiliation. I think they had Childress affiliation last year, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they're associated with Hendrick this year. I think Hendrick's got because of the support they can get back and forth and being right there with them.
But Pitbull. You got Michael Jordan. Those are big names to bring into the sport for those things.
And also, I didn't know until today that the owners from Starcom are going to hook up with that team and help them out.
I haven't heard anything on that deal. So I don't know what's going on. I know they on their Facebook page, so I don't.
It's a Fury team. Fury. They put it
all
together.
But do they have a charter? And there's no charter.
I don't think there's no charter.
Okay.
There's no charter. So anyway. All right, we got Brian Morehouse on here. I ain't seen Peyton Sellers yet, so we need to go ahead and get Brian.
What's up, Brian?
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Good, man.
How are you doing?
I'm hanging in there, doing really well.
Are you? Well, you fell out of bed this morning and lost all your gummy bears. So.
Well, wait a minute. What kind of gummy bears were they?
I don't know. I got them at the vape shop. I don't know. They told me they were on sale.
That's the first thing I thought of. I see him like, Brian, what kind of gummy bears are we out here?
I was sitting around joking today. We had just finished up a meeting, and I said, man, I'm going to put something on Facebook to make everybody laugh. And it's been doing pretty good. One of my friends just put on there, Sheila, said, hey, you need to stop buying your gummy bears at the vape store. So that's where I got that from. That's not my original joke.
Well, I don't know where Peyton is. He told me he was going to be here. I haven't seen him yet. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to send him the plaque and everything anyway. I've already got it all set up and everything. So I'll let you talk about your involvement with it, and I'll show the plaque.
All right. Well, that sounds great. It's great to be back on the show with y'all guys. As everyone knows, we're one of the sponsors with the Jack Dodson Racing Insider News with Scott Allen. 811 does a lot. We take information, get it on out to facility operators, and get those public utilities marked. So anytime you're doing any type of excavation in your yard, you'd end up calling 811. And we're just really glad to be able to get out there and let everyone know exactly what 811's about. And we first started off with Jack Dodson and Scott Allen back in 2018. And it's just been something that we've really been able to grow off of. With that, we've gotten really involved in racing, other sports, to be able to get the word out to the community to make sure that everyone calls before they dig. And about, last year, the year before, we came up with Driver of the Month and then decided to do Driver of the Year, Driver of the Week, Driver of the Month, and now Driver of the Year. So this year, we're really happy to be part of the show with Jack Dodson and Scott Allen and be able to present Peyton Sellers with Driver of the Year award. With all of his accomplishments, with racing out South Boston and all the regional tracks around, couldn't ask for a better person to be able to represent this award as in Peyton Sellers.
I mean, he won the national championship this year, but I don't think anything could be more meaningful than a plaque from us.
There you go. I like it. I'm saying that.
Well, I'm just wondering, who's gonna be the local guy that's gonna run in the SEX series at South Boston, or SRX at South Boston?
I don't know. I mean, I don't have a lead on it, but I can tell you this much. I kept looking at that date, and I kept seeing it be TBD. And I thought maybe, there's a chance we get a modified there or something. And then when they announced that we were coming to Langley with the Wheeling Modified Tour, we were really excited. Everybody's really excited about coming back to Langley. It's a great track. And I kept wondering what that open date was going to be. And now I see that they've announced that the SRX will be there. Hey, you never know who that may be filling that seat there as the home favorite for South Boston. What a great track. What a great opportunity, and great to be able to bring that series to South Boston.
I can't wait. I'm gonna try to make it up there for that, but I'm definitely going to Peabody, Missouri to watch it. So I'm definitely going out there. I'm gonna go out and see my brother-in-law and his wife, and we're gonna go see the race. I think it'll be cool.
Yeah, it definitely will be. I mean, I did see where Kenny Wallace said he was not going to, even if they asked him, he was not going to run it, that he had done his part, and then and I agree with him. I think it's good, admiral of him to say,
oh, he'll be there.
Yeah, he's not running though.
It's great to be able to see what the SRX series is doing. I'm glad to see that they're going back to Stafford too. That was their, mothership. They basically had a great event there with Doug Kobe, who also has been racing in the Wheeling Modified Tour and is a past champion. I'm telling you, it was great to be able to see some of these local drivers competing with some of the best that was in the sport. So definitely great, and looking forward to these guys coming to South Boston. South Boston's always been a great track, along with Langley. I mean, there's so many things happening here in 2022 with race season almost upon us. Great racing action ahead, and I think you're going to really see some awesome racing on the short track circuits.
So what are you going to be doing this year? You going to be back with the modifieds and coming up here to Langley to see us when the modifieds are here?
Yeah, I'll be back with the modifieds. We'll be back out at Richmond, Martinsville, New Hampshire. We'll be missing the opening event, which will be out at New Smyrna. Really hate to do that, but I never thought we would be scheduling another event in February. So I ended up getting on the Scott Allen fan club tour of taking a cruise. What do we got? About 3 people going, Scott? No, we're all going. We're getting ready to go on a cruise February the 12th. So I won't be there for New Smyrna, but I'm really looking forward to everything. They're hearing a lot of great things.
So what's more important, racing or going on that cruise? I mean, that's
you gotta get a happy girlfriend.
Hold on, honey, come here.
You have to have priorities, You
notice how he started talking real quick. You got to have priorities.
That's right.
Got you, Jack.
Not everybody's as dumb as we are, Jack.
What is all this about pizza and everything else? My goodness, how many pizzas do y'all get delivered to you in a week?
In a week, 2.
2?
Okay. Every Tuesday night we get 2 pizzas delivered to us.
But I do agree with your analogy. I think a gym place would be great as the next sponsor.
So the next sponsor that y'all are going to announce in 2022 will probably be Planet Fitness.
Something like that.
Yes.
Bodies by D. I know he's a big dude. He does a lot of stuff out there at Yorktown.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about him. But listen, 811's got a lot of new things coming up. We're going to be announcing some big stuff here in the near future. We're also into iRacing. I never thought that we would be a major sponsor within iRacing. We're a sponsor with Full Throttle Performance right now, and we're also with the Sims 500 iRacing League. Really pretty cool. I mean, be able to see what these guys paint their cars and their setups and everything else. I myself didn't realize all this went into iRacing, but I'm learning each and every week as I'm watching them.
Yeah, we listen to some of these kids that come on and talk about the iRacing. Scott and I, we can't even compete in that either. So,
Well, it's a big deal though. I mean, you're talking about, like, I seen Elliott Sadler and them, they have a driver with Garrett Maines that run an arena racing. I mean, and this is a big deal, and they have their own sponsors and run the whole class. I mean, it's crazy how big and how many different leagues and different things there is.
Well, we actually got involved with it since COVID hit. People weren't able to go to the racetracks, and more people were going towards iRacing and being able to do it at a cheaper price than getting out there and racing. Now, after I hear how much some of these gentlemen and ladies are putting into their gear and their equipment, I don't know how much more cheaper it is. I mean, it is. It's a little cheaper, but there's a lot of time and effort that goes in to the iRacing program. And a lot of people are using iRacing right now to be able to practice for some of the tracks that they attend.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Well, we had talked to a few of the young guys that are coming along, like Rajay that we met at Richmond. That's going to be running. I think his first race is going to be at Richmond again, or in the Xfinity Series. Because we were asking him about it, and he was more along it. You don't have the same sensation, but you get to learn and feel where the bumps are and kind of some pickup points and that stuff. So it's not 100%, but it definitely gives you gets you familiar with the racetrack.
It really does. I see a lot of the younger drivers using this as a tool to get a little bit familiar with the tracks. I know one time about last year, y'all were interviewing a young man, and he was getting ready to jump off your show and go into iRacing program that he races with each week just for practice, he stated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, some of these guys are pretty serious.
I wish I could afford to get me one. I might be able to,
Well, I mean, it ain't just, I mean, some of these guys have got hell, you look at the one, I mean, it's pretty elaborate that Denny Hamlin's got. That's a $30,000+ rig. I mean, I mean, $5,000 you can have an okay rig, but then you have to pay for iRacing. You got to buy racetracks.
He's got all this money that he could, Denny Hamlin could. He has a whole room dedicated to his.
We didn't say he was real smart.
He's got a basketball court, all that kind of stuff.
God.
I mean, not like you and me, Scott. We have to go out back to the shop and throw the basket up on top of the building to make have a little basketball game.
Right.
I rode around Lake Norman on a boat and went by his house. And I'm going to tell you what, the sight of that basketball court just through the window from out there is unbelievable. So, I mean, he's got a heck of a place. I mean, ain't no doubt about it.
One of the cool things about living down here, I mean, now I'm in the Shelby area, so I'm about 32 miles southwest of Charlotte Airport. But to be able to go out on the Lake Norman and see some of the houses that some of these guys are building and sports athletes in general, man, it just amazes me. And then I got to think about this. And I know they probably have somebody cut their grass, but I'm going, wow, just there's so much property to take care of.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
just think of how expensive it is.
Kyle Larson has his house is right on the end of the street from Denny's, and it looks like a.
Did he finish it?
It looks like it looks like a palace, but he's selling it. He's selling it. He's not going to stay there. He's going to sell it.
I don't think he's making as much money as he was.
And you go across the lake a little ways, and there's Kyle Busch's house, another palace. I mean, anyway.
Yeah,
it's amazing. So we're really looking forward to great things in 2022. You're going to see 811 on billboards, especially in North Carolina, because I am part of North Carolina 811. Each state has their own 811 organization, and we're kind of different. We're not, we work together, but the laws are a little bit different in each state. So we have to carry that process out, and it's just really good. We're really looking forward to getting out there, doing a lot of great things. We've cut back a little bit with racing, but we're still going to be the caution sponsor out at Bowman Gray Stadium. Look forward to everybody being able to come on out there. If you actually get an opportunity this summer, please come on out. Season starts April the 23rd, and then again, we'll be on Matthew Nance's Super Late Model and Late Model Series. So we're really looking forward to being a part of all that again this year, and we have an exciting year ahead of us.
Yeah, Matthew does a great job too. I mean, you got to give it to that kid. I mean, he's just all around good kid, does a good job, and really good with the sponsors.
He really is, and that's what you got to really look at when you're looking at sponsoring somebody. You got to look at someone who's going to be able to represent you the best way that they possibly can. And Matthew's one of those guys. I mean, when I first met him, he was kind of brought to me in a meeting that I had, and the young lady had told us, she was like, you really need to look at this guy. You need to look at this guy. I'd never really heard of him because I wasn't really into dirt racing too much at the time. And we brought it up at a meeting and went out and met him. And I tell you, it's been nothing but a pleasure getting to know him and his family. And it is a true family operation, from sister and mom that run the T-shirt stand and everything else, souvenirs, to dad, uncles working on the car. They give it 110%, and we're so glad to be able to be on that car each and every race that he races in.
The thing that impresses me about Matt is when you meet him, he's a genuine person. It's not somebody that's just doing a lot of stuff for the sponsor, and that's sort of a fake persona. It's him. I mean, it's genuine.
What I try to do is I try to reach out to everyone that we sponsor, and we give them items to be able to give away during autograph sessions. I don't have to call him. Matthew calls me, and he's like, what do I need to do this week? We got plans to do this. We got plans to do that. And I'm like, wow, this is really nice when you have someone that is all about giving back to their sponsors.
Are you hitting something here?
Jack, are you listening?
Are you hitting something here that we need to know? I mean,
you never know.
All right, Brian, I'm sorry we didn't. Peyton told me he was going to be here tonight, but anyway, congratulations to Peyton for being our 2021 Driver of the Year. I'm going to still send this out to him, and hopefully maybe I'll get by there and see him or something. I don't know, but we appreciate you being with us.
Yeah, thank you, Brian.
But I got one thing I got to remind you of.
What's that?
Remember, Scott and I are your flagship. We started this.
I know. And did you notice I gave y'all the opening credit? Did y'all notice that?
Yeah, I did, but I just want you to remember this.
I don't want you to have to pat yourself.
Well, thank y'all for what y'all do. We really do appreciate getting the 811 message out there. We just want to ask everybody, come to Safe Digging Sports, follow all the racing action that 811 is involved in, and looking forward, like I said, seeing y'all guys when we make our way back down the Langley Speedway this summer.
And we're good to go we're going to do it again this year with the Driver of the Month, Driver of the Week, and Driver of the Year. So those three things we're good with. So
we really do appreciate how everybody does the voting. Sometimes it gets to be pretty comical. Keep it going. I mean, that's what social media is all about. Let's have a great time. Let's have fun out there and just get on with 2022. Warm weather right around the corner.
I can't wait. Can't wait. Thank you, Brian. We'll talk to you again soon, okay?
Thanks, guys.
All right, let's get the main man, Kirk Ipock. I know he's been patiently waiting for us.
Yeah, he has been patiently waiting.
I hate to hold people up, but let's get him on here. And
let's see. It's brought to you by MPM Marketing. And let's get Kurt on here. What's up, Kurt? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing tonight?
We're doing great, man. And you know, I tell you what, you made your big announcement down there. I know we're supposed to have Mike with us tonight, and I understand he's sick, but tell us a little bit about that big announcement you had down there for Southern National in the fall of the year.
Yeah, made an announcement last week that my wife and I we're selling our business. We're getting out of trucking. We got a good company that's coming in and taking us over, and I love my racing. And the first track I ever sponsored was Southern National. Actually, I got my Southern National shirt on tonight. I mean, it's 4 years old. I'll get Diaz to get me a new one eventually.
I think after inking that deal, he owes you at least a shirt.
Yeah, he needs to give me a new shirt. But I fell in love with Southern National, and we're gonna go out at the end of the year. And we're going to go out with a bang. I love late model racing. And I just want to give it back to the drivers when we lead the series.
Well, I tell you what, Kurt, you've been such a valuable part of all this late model upsurge they've had lately. You are the center of that. And we appreciate everything you've done. And I know you're going to go out with the big bang down at Southern National.
Yeah, and like I told you, Jack, I mean, I appreciate what you guys do for the late model racing. It's just like the guy on with 811 a while ago. I mean, they've really made a name for themselves in the late model racing, and this is where our heart is, that we love the late model racing. I mean, it's just like up there. And matter of fact, I want to tell Bill Mullins happy belated birthday.
Yeah.
I know he's been celebrating all week, and he's probably still celebrating now.
Yeah.
Just tell him I need a sweet seat when I go up there to Langley this year.
I don't think that'll be a problem. We do got a fan question here. Justin Jones wants to know, how many pigs are you going to cook for the Classic?
Justin wants to know that.
No, it was Jesse Jones.
Okay. I don't know. I might hire somebody to cook them just so I can enjoy the final weekend, you know?
So are you going to be, I mean, you're selling your trucking business and everything. And I heard about that this week, but I mean, really, I mean, are you going to still be around and being a part of the sport with us?
Well, I mean, I got a 2-year contract with the Cars Tour. Everyone that I've sponsored, I've let them know that this is going to be my last year. And really, Jack, I mean, I hope some other people can step up and see where late model racing is and help the guys out. Like I said, this year is going to be my last year. I do have a 2-year contract with the Cars Tour, and that I've got to be obligated to. Bobby McCartney, Mason Diaz, I'm with them this year. I'm with Carter County Speedway. I'm with All-American Speedway. I'm with Southern National. I'm still going to fulfill my commitment this year. But I just hope that other people will step up and realize that how good late model racing is, that they can utilize their money and get a return on it.
Kirk, look at, you know, with your big announcement down for Southern National and everything, that is great for the late model. We got a thing coming up this coming weekend at Florence that's big for the late models. It looks like the late models, you know, they're becoming a staple to everything right now. Everybody's getting involved in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like with Steve this weekend. I'm planning on going to Florence this weekend, and I mean, you got your Josh Berry, your Jeb Burton, Justin Johnson, Carter Langley. I mean, I think you said earlier there's like 35 cars entered. So
they got 33 signed right now.
Right, 33 signed right now, and I mean, Steve's doing a heck of a job down there. And I mean, I got on board with him, you know, for the last 2 years, and worked with him. And yeah, I mean, it's just an awesome series. I mean, you take your Josh Berry that's made it to Xfinity. You take your Tate Fogelman that's made it to the trucks. Your Jeb Burton that's in the Xfinity that done late models. I mean, he's going to be in Florence this weekend.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I mean, it's just late model stock cars to me is where you cut your teeth and you get your recognition at. Right.
I agree. And I'm going to tell you what, we have some big late model races going on during this year. And I think it's really making it go into an upsurge for the late models, because I mean, talk about Florence and Southern National. We got the Hampton Heat here at Langley. We got the triple crown here in Virginia for that, and some good racing going on down at other places. This is unbelievable. The late models are, you know, people are really beginning to flock to the late models.
Well, you take, for instance, like Donnie Pure year. I mean, first race on the Cars Tour this year is $30,000 to win at Caraway, and he stowed $10,000 in on 4 more races to pay it. And yes, I mean, to me, I mean, that's where it's at. I mean, if there's a lot of guys, and I'm tickled for them. Josh Berry, Tate Fogelman, Jeb Burton. You know, you make it to the bigger leagues, and I'm tickled for them. Mm-hmm. But this is where they cut their teeth at, and this is where they learn how to drive against the best of the best.
You know, I was talking to somebody, I guess it was about a month ago or something. I was talking to somebody about the solid rock carriers being on these cars and stuff. And that, when you see that on there, you know that somebody's really backing them, like yourself. You're backing them to the fullest and helping them out every way you can. I think that is huge. We're going to miss seeing it around.
Well, hopefully the company that's buying me out will continue to do it. I can't say that they will. He's a big race fan. Actually, he's out of Missouri. He's coming to Charlotte in, I think it's May. He's got Shelby GT, one of them cars that he gets to run around Charlotte Motor Speedway, and hopefully, maybe he'll fall in love with what I have and continue on doing it.
So what does the life of Kurt look like in the next couple of years?
I just want to go to each race, Jack, and really be just a race fan. Not people tugging on me to, can you help me do this? Can you help me do that? Because first and foremost, I'm a race fan. I love your show. I love other shows. My wife gets on me all the time because I'm, spending each night watching shows and stuff. And I'm a race fan. That's what I am, as a race fan. And that's why I've done what I have done in racing, because I just love the local guys that race.
Yeah, and once you get it in your system to start racing and everything, you just want to see great things happen to good people and do things like that. And we are really, that's what we do. We just love doing what we're doing. I mean, we're not out here to make big bucks or anything out of it. We're just having fun.
We're making money?
No, we're not making anything, but we do get a pizza. But
right, that's our payment.
You get 2 free pizzas every Tuesday night now. So, that's
a big deal for us. That's a big deal for us.
That's a big payday right there.
Hell, I had to pay for my pizza tonight.
I know it's going to be a bittersweet thing come Southern National, but I know you're going to want to go out on top of that down there having a blast.
Yeah, and like I said, I love Southern National. It was my first track that I ever sponsored, and like I said, I want a guy with a bang. The Diaz's, I love them to death. Mason, he's an awesome kid. I've watched him mature the last 5 years, and he's an awesome kid. And I hope that one day that he will make it to the level that he wants to go to. I went to the Cup level one time and, sponsored a car, but what I give at the Cup level, I can give to so many people in the level that they go to work every day. They get off of work, they go out to the shop, they work on their cars, and that's what I do. I go to work every day, and I appreciate the guys that, that, like I said, not disappreciate the guys that make it to the higher level, but they earn it when they get there.
Yeah, and to get there, you got to have people like you helping. Being a part of it and helping the racing out. And I tell you what, you're a great guy for doing it, and I really admire what you have done with the Solid Rock Carriers, being so involved in the sport.
Anybody that spends their hard-earned money and invested in the sport is got to be greatly appreciated. I would imagine, Kurt, that it's probably going to be nice for you to walk around the racetrack with everybody not coming up to you with their hand out.
Well, it's just like with Peyton Sellers. My wife and I last year, or it might have been 2 years ago, we went up to Old Dominion. Nobody knew who we were. And Peyton's dad, he come up to me. He said, I know who you are. I said, who's that? And he told me who I was. And I said, well, you're the only one that's recognized me. Like I said, I'm a race fan, dude. I want to help everybody. It's just like in the Cars Tour this year. We've upped the ante and everything to make the Cars Tour better. But like when we come to your guys' tracks, you might have 5 or 6 guys that will want to run with the Cars Tour guy because they're not going to make the money winning the race that they are going to start a Cars Tour race. And I want to help everybody. And when we go to local tracks, I want to help the local guys too. I might not know the local guy, but I still want to help that guy. As a matter of fact, I think it's Butterbean. He's from y'all's home track.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I've met him a couple of times, but hey, I hope he comes and races with us again.
I think he would like to do that again.
Yeah, I think there's some talk about doing some cars tour. I believe, and I don't hold me to that, but I think so.
I think.
Kirk, I hope I run into you down in Florence this weekend. I'm hopefully going to make it down there if no weather systems come through, rain, pour, whatever it happens. I keep hearing different scenarios of what the weather's supposed to be like, but
right now I think it's supposed to be 60 degrees, partly cloudy. I know the rain's supposed to be in there Friday night. I'm watching it myself. But hey, we'll go find some hole to go in and take a drink together.
all right, we'll do that. I'll come down and hang out with you for a while.
All right, we'll do that, Jack. And Scott, hey, like I said, I appreciate what you guys do as well for track racing. Y'all are just as important as Solid Rock, 811, anyone else. Y'all are just as important.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. Appreciate that. It's kind words. Kirk, we'll see you down there this weekend, hopefully.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
Thank
all
you,
right,
man.
Talk to you later.
All right.
Man, what a genuine guy, too.
I'm going to tell you, you're not going to find a better guy that's trying to support this sport like he is.
I would hate to see how much he has spent.
All these years. And, I used to, I'm going to tell you how naive I was. The first couple of years, I kept seeing Solid Rock carriers on
Yeah,
cars.
know what it was.
What the heck is that? What is that? And then I began to learn what it was about, and then find out what he was doing was unbelievable. So
Well, and then, how he got started was from Christine and Justin here from Langley Speedway. They were working when the track was closed. They were working down at Southern National. And I think Christine run into him, I believe, and I forgot about that until Jesse asked me how many pigs he's going to cook. I think there was a problem with the pig. He cooked the pig, and it didn't turn out real well, so he had to go buy some food or something. There's a story there of some sort. And then I think Christine invited him into the racetrack or something. And then from there, he has just, gotten really involved with the sport. And thank God for people like that, because, that's what we need. But we got to give them a return on their investment.
and you think about it, it's like Kirk, the Keene, and Tom Keene, and everybody with Corvette Auto Parts and everything they're doing it
Another guy.
down there. And then here at Langley, we have, the people that help with the Hampton Heat and are part of this racetrack all
The
the time.
city's involved.
And that's a big deal to keep that keeps everybody going. And
It does. It's hard to find these companies that are willing to put their money in, but you also got to make sure that those companies get a return on their investment. You take, what's the street super streets sponsor?
oh shoot, you hadn't asked me.
Yeah, but like him, Miles of Seamless Gutter. They got 2 cars on track. We're gonna have 2 cars this year. They put out a lot of money. So we need to support those guys, even if it's a competitors. And I think it's important to go like their Facebook page, thank those guys, for being involved in the sport. Who we got at 7:45?
Steve Zacharias was supposed to be here at 7:45.
All right, so we're waiting on Steve Zacharias, and then 8 o'clock, Dr. Jerry Punch. For any of you old school guys that y'all know who Dr. Jerry Punch is, the only doctor that I think that was a TV commentator for NASCAR that I could ever remember.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. I even the guys I seen were forgot who it was with Speed 51 or used to be Speed 51. He had posted on there when you posted it, and he said that's pretty cool to get Dr. Jerry Punch. So we look forward to having him on the show. And how do you go from a doctor to TV analyst for racing?
I don't want to talk out of school because I'm not really positive how that went, but how he ended up over there with NASCAR. But he was the emergency room doctor at the hospital in Daytona. That's where he was.
Really?
That's where he was. I don't know.
I did not know that.
I'm not sure that's where he is now. But anyway. All right, there's Steve Zacharias. Let's get him on here real quick and talk with him.
What's happening, guys?
How you
What's
doing,
going on,
Steve?
Steve?
Hey,
You
sorry,
ready?
I was sitting here relaxing, and I totally lost track of time. I apologize.
Not a problem, not a problem. Look, ready for this weekend? Everything's ready to go?
Oh yeah, bathrooms are functioning and track's clean, so all is good.
Now, give me a little update on the weather down that way for this weekend. We've had such bad weather up here.
Sunny.
Yeah, warm. The rain is not my concern because I've being near the beach or even remotely near the beach, you guys know it changes daily. I mean, every time we all turn it on, it's different than it was earlier. So right now, the biggest thing I got is it's 75 and 61 right now is temperature. So I'll take that, and we can make that rain go away. I can dry up a lot faster when it's that way than it is 30.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's very true.
Well, I can't wait to get down there. I have not been down to Florence, and this over here is the Florence Flash. He won a race down there, but I can't wait to get down and see what all you got going on. Looks like you got a good field of late models coming in.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, the icebreaker is always a little bit say nerve wracking, but we had 53 cars at the 400, which was absolutely incredible. And the icebreaker has always been a little off because some guys, I mean, everyone's trying to keep up, build motors, and obviously right now with the struggle to get parts, tires, all of it, the icebreaker is a little off because who's got their stuff completely ready and ready to go for the February event. So we're always down a little bit, but to have 30 plus cars, it doesn't matter what event or what track you're at. To have 30 plus late model stocks is an honor. So we're excited, and it's looking like it's going to be a great weekend.
I think so. It looks like it's going to be a wonderful weekend down there. But so tell us a little bit. Now you moved from over there at Myrtle Beach and came over to Florence. What are some of the biggest things you've had to do that different than you did at Myrtle Beach?
Drive an hour and a half to work every day. That's definitely a big change. But no, I mean I tell people all the time, man. It sucked. Myrtle Beach was kind of my home, my family's home for a long time. All of our homes. Great facility, half-mile racetrack with a lot of unique characteristics where, it was a driver's track. It was fun to drive because you were just hauling the mail and just had so much history to it. But to come to Florence, when it all kind of went down, things were weird, right? Like, so I didn't even know it was happening until January of 2020. I had built the schedule for Myrtle Beach about 100 times, and the guy that owned the place kept dragging his feet about announcement, and something was odd. Kind of had a different feel to, why are we not announcing what's going on? And then I get told, hey, this is what's going on. The racetrack's closing. We're going to go to a development. And, had to kind of keep that close to my chest based on, what we talked about as far as what he was trying to do. And then while being close to the chest, I still had to look for other avenues for myself, my family, the racer, and, kind of made some phone calls and called Charlie, spoke to Charlie, and I tell people all the time that it just, the cards were dealt, I think, well before any of us even knew it, where, Myrtle Beach closes. Charlie's getting to an age where he kept telling me 100 times. He said, I'm 83 years old. I can't do it anymore. I want to, but I ain't got it in me. So I said, it's perfect timing. Let's figure it out. We figured it out. And then unfortunately, Charlie passes away August 1st of 2020. So we signed our deal July 6th. He dies August 1st. Never gets to see a race here, which bothers me to this day. But the evolution of how we got to this point, is incredible, because without Myrtle Beach going away, us being able to come here, Charlie passes. Unfortunately, Florence, which is an amazing facility, would have just been lost in it would have just got overgrown with trees, and no one would even know it existed. And it deserved its recognition, because every time we've had a big race with great racers, and every weekend you come here, you're seeing amazing racing. Myrtle Beach was an amazing facility, but it just didn't put the racing on that this place does at a 4/10 mile. We've got an outside groove that Clint King, the 07 truck, he raced here probably about July of last year, never left the very outside, right side tires, all the way against the outside white line, no backstretch wall, and led from green to checkered. You go to Myrtle Beach, there was just no way that was happening. So this facility it's been a hidden gem that hopefully now people are starting to see that it's got great racers that want to come to it, and it puts on great racing.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I mean, I know that this is going to be a big weekend. Tell us what all divisions you got running down there this weekend.
Well, obviously, late model stocks is first and foremost 125 laps. They're going to be on 4 tires, which is 25 laps less than the 400. We ran 150 on 4 tires. So I'm interested to see how that goes, because they ran a race at a very strange pace at the 400. It was 3 wide for way longer than I was comfortable with. So we'll see how that goes. You got your limited late models, which that car count's growing, seems like every minute. And they're going to run 60 laps. Super trucks are going to run 60. We've got the street stocks running 50. And that would be the icebreaker. So, we had to make a little bit of an adjustment on the super trucks and the limiteds, because I just didn't feel like 2 new and 2 scuff was going to go for 75 laps. So, the tire situation is much better than it was, but it's still a work in progress. So late model stocks are going to get 4 practice, 4 race. The super trucks and limited is going to get 2 scuff for the race. Thanks to our boy, Mr. Mark Wirtz, I'm able to handle some scuffs, so that worked out well. It's going to be interesting to say the least, because each division has got something to shoot for. It's the beginning of the year. It's the first race of NASCAR points. The icebreaker has always been kind of, it has been the first race in the NASCAR sanctioning side of things. So we don't mark them down as points for Florence, but they do get listed as national points. So your Josh Berry's, which we all know he's not going to run for national this year, but anyone shooting for national points, this is a great opportunity to get involved and get out here, because you're going to get a full field. You're going to get all your points that you're looking for, and get a chance to get started early.
Hey, what has been your biggest challenge at Florence? I mean, it is a really cool, unique racetrack. It's way different. And Charlie was such a nice guy. I raced down there for 1 year when Langley was closed. And I mean, like you said, he's 83 years old. And I remember talking to him then where he wanted to get out of it. I mean, he was 80 at the time, or almost 80. And he was still working, running around there, working the whole place,
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest challenge was, number one, without Charlie, learning where things were. I always joke with everyone that my kids, when we first got here, they kept asking me, where do I turn the lights on? Where do I do this? Where I said, once you figure it out, let me know. Because I was at Myrtle Beach for going on 11 years, and knew exactly where the water shutoffs were, where the electrical was, where we ran it, how it got there. And then we get to Florence, we don't know anything. And then, trying to figure out what the things were we needed to do in what time frame, so I keep joking about the bathrooms, because how hard I've worked since December 1st to make these happen. But it was, when we first got here, what do you do first? And the grandstands were the first things. Thanks to a gentleman in town, Danny Johnson, we actually got aluminum seating to replace the wood that was rotting here for a long time. So, trying to just, when we got to Myrtle Beach in 2011, I think it was, man, I tell people that there was 6 days in a row I stayed at Myrtle Beach. I slept on a 4-wheeler. I slept on the counters of the concession stand to try to get ready because of how beat up it was. And this place wasn't that bad, but it's a complete Control-Alt-Delete, where I had to come here and, I went from starting at Myrtle Beach and kind of fixing, making better. And all of a sudden, all done. Now go to a new place and do the same thing all over again and try to figure out how to make it work at a new facility that people, unfamiliar with, and try to convince them that it's such a great place that we all need to go there, not just Steve and his family.
Right. Well, I tell you what, I've heard a lot of good things about the things you've done down there. I'm sure you got plenty of things you would like to do in the future down there too, to move things along. I think you're doing a great job.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's. I tell people that we're all in the same game together. You guys doing these podcasts, weekly, and Langley and what the Mullises have done. Everyone out there from the Kathy Rice to we're all just race fans. We're race supporters, short track racing especially, and we're all trying to just make this sport what we want it to be, and hopefully we can get it there together.
Well, I can't wait to come down there and see everything on. Hopefully, I'll be there Saturday morning. So can't wait to be down there.
We'll have you on the list, and we'll be hopefully rooting on Mr. Wirtz. We'll keep our fingers crossed he puts her to the front.
That's
all
right.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate it. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you. I'll see you Saturday.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All
See
right,
you, bud.
man.
All right, bye.
I mean, Florence is a. Have you been down to Florence? Have you been? To
I
Florence?
went by there. It was in Timmonsville, and I went around that way one
Man,
time.
I mean, if you've never been there, I don't know what. I'm sure it looks better. I mean, it had been aged. I mean, Charlie Powell had been in and out for a long time. Like I said, he was 83. I am sad to see that he didn't get to see the future, because he was kind of worried. He wanted it to continue. And Charlie had owned that place for I don't know how long, but a long time. I think he had a dirt track at one time, and then changed it to this, and somebody else was doing it. And I had several conversations with Charlie Sr., I think it was, and I mean, he was still there working the racetrack every day. He's like, I'm at a certain age, I'm time to relax. So it's sad to see that he doesn't get that time to relax and watch the racetrack continue and have a bright future. But if you didn't know, I mean, it would be a little teeny sign. There's a long dirt road, and you open up and there's like this go-kart dirt track over here, and there's no gate to get in and out of. You just drive through a hole in the wall. I mean, it's a very unique place. No wall on the back stretch, no wall in the corners, just on the front stretch by the stands. It's dark out there. They do have a nice little teeny restaurant type place in the middle. It's pretty neat. You can go in there and get you a bologna burger. They have bologna burgers in there. But Charlie and his wife did a lot of work in that place. All right. All right. Well, we got Dr. Jerry Punch. Let's check out what Dr. Jerry's doing now. What's up, Doc? How are you doing, bud?
Hey, how are you guys doing? I apologize. My browser doesn't support one of the formats, so I had to go back to my phone. But we made it work. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay.
We can hear you
got
good.
you. Yeah, you have to open it up in Chrome, or it doesn't like Apple products too much.
So how's it going down there, Mr. Punch? How's everything going with you?
Oh, it's going well. We're just trying to make sure that we can get past this little spike in the Omicron with COVID, and hopefully that's going to pass in the next few weeks, or at least it's already started down in terms of numbers here in Tennessee where I am, and we can get closer to getting NASCAR racing started. As they head out to LA this weekend for what should be a very interesting weekend and an historic weekend for the Busch Light Clash for the first time not being in Daytona.
Did you ever think you'd see anything like this?
I didn't. I was there at the very first one. I was still in med school, and I had a few days I could get away. And I remember Ned Jarrett said, "I'll pay you to come and be to Daytona and be my assistant," meaning that I was going to be a runner for Ned, working for CBS for that Busch Clash. And I was thrilled to be there. But I never thought it would leave Daytona. But things change so much, and I'm so I admire the folks in NASCAR. Obviously Jim France has been a great friend for a long time, but Ben Kennedy, the grandson, Lisa Kennedy's son, I just admire he thinking outside the box maybe a good way to start looking at getting some new fans into NASCAR. And I'm sure probably from what I've heard, probably over half, if not 2/3 of the people that'll be in attendance at the LA Coliseum may not have seen a NASCAR race. And they're going to see, pushing and shoving and beating and banging and bumping and tempers flaring. And out there, they just call it rush hour on the I-10 freeway. NASCAR short track racing. And hopefully it'll be a good show, and we'll get some fans that'll want to come to other events and watch.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like the closest a Cup car will be like Bowman Gray.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much is what it seems like.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and if you look at, someone said, well, why would you go do that? I mean, but look at Bowman Gray. I grew up loving short tracks. I grew up at Hickory Speedway. You guys, and the tracks like Hickory and Langley and those kind of New Asheville Speedway and Caraway, those short tracks in Bowman Gray were what basically allowed a lot of fans to fall in love with the sport of NASCAR. And then we were able to go see the super speedway races. And I think Bowman Gray Stadium, the longest continuously operated, most successful, short track in NASCAR history. They call it the Madhouse for a reason, and they still pack them in there. And so, that's what people are going to see, a quarter-mile racetrack around a football field that they'll be able to be that close to the race cars. And hopefully, now it'll be a lot of pushing and shoving. I'm not sure if there'll be a lot of room to pass. Look like they've tried to make 2.5 to 3 lanes out there.
Yeah.
And the drivers, the good thing is, this is a little bit like, people in LA, I've done football games at the LA Coliseum. I did a Southern Cal game there last year. And so I've done football games there. And because Southern Cal hasn't been that competitive, normally it's a third to half full at most. And from what I'm hearing, the 70,000 seats they only had like 2,500 tickets available a week and a half ago. So that means they're going to have a huge crowd to be able to see what's going to happen. And just like I look at it like an NBA All-Star game or maybe the Pro Bowl, because that's one place the fans can go and see all your favorite athletes. Well, here you can go and see all your favorite drivers, people you've watched on TV or heard about, and now you're only a few feet from them as they come walk out with their cars, and you get to actually see them, and you got to watch them race. Now, it isn't Talladega, it isn't Bristol or Charlotte, but it's still a great chance for these people to connect with some of these drivers.
Yeah.
Do you get out and go to the races a lot now, or are you just completely done with it as far as that goes?
Well, when ESPN, we lost the contract. I stayed on and did IndyCar for. I did the Indy 500 for a few more years until that went away. I think I had done 27 Indianapolis 500s, but ESPN didn't really have any motorsports, and so, my contract ended 2 years ago at ESPN, and then they were kind enough to ask me if I would consider doing some college football games, and I said, sure, if you need me. I've done this for 32 years, and I'm honored and blessed to be a part of that company. And so what happened, I thought I was going to do a couple of games, and ended up doing like 8 college football games plus 2 bowl games. And then the following year, which was last year, I did 4 college football games. And then I had 3 more that were COVIDed out, basically canceled on a Tuesday because COVID. And then this year, I told them, look, I'm not going to travel. And ESPN, quite honestly, was wise not to send announcers to the stadiums. They didn't have a problem sending me because I'm a medical doctor, and that's really what I do. I work in clinical research now on vaccines and boosters and other medications, other drugs at a medical center here in Tennessee. So, it's one of those things where they felt comfortable me going to the stadium knowing that I knew the protocols and knew what to do. But still, if they could have, and most of those games were being called by announcers who were in their home or in their basement, on Zooms or like we're doing here. So I just realized that I've had a great run. I enjoyed the NASCAR stuff. Now, not that I wouldn't consider going back to the track again but I've had a great time. ESPN was a part of our sport of NASCAR stock car racing and IndyCar racing when the tracks were packed and there were standing room only crowds and there were waiting lists for tickets and we had some great moments. And I got a chance to work with the late Bob Jenkins, he and I were dear friends, and of course Benny Parsons and Ned Jarrett, our entire crew. We just had such a great team. Yeah, great memories. And, I'm excited for what lies ahead for NASCAR, but I don't think as far as actively being a part of calling races or whatever, I'm going to be a part of that. Now, if somebody called, I would consider maybe being a part of a pre-race show or something like that, or telling some stories, maybe being a historian to share some of the early moments and stories, I think, or maybe what I would call it would be like, sort of like the Paul Harvey, the rest of the story, or I bet you didn't know, or behind the scenes. Because those things are fun. I mean, me, that's fun to do.
So, Doc, I want to back up some. How do you go from a doctor to announcing races? Like, how did you get started? And another backup question that is, do you have a favorite moment?
Well, I grew up in Newton, North Carolina, which is, and my grandfather's farm was just over the hill from Hickory Speedway. So, before I could walk, I remember my grandmother and grandfather going over to the Hickory every Saturday night. My grandfather was a gate guard. He is a farmer, and he was a gate guard there. And my grandmother would sit up in the stands. She would make him a big thermos of coffee and make him some sandwiches. We'd sit up there and watch. Back then, Hickory was dirt. We'd watch these sedans come flying by, and there was a guy named Ralph Earnhardt that was racing there intermittently, and Dink Widenhouse, and then the NASCAR guys would come over there with Richard and Lee Petty, and and Bob Welburn and Ned Jarrett. I mean, Fireball Roberts, those guys back in those days. And then Hickory got paved, so I mean, I was around from the very beginning and got a chance to. Then I'd run down in the pits after the races and hang out with the people down there. And I was a kid. I had no idea these people that I was running around talking to were going to be the biggest names in our sport and be legends. They were also nice and accommodating. And, even when I was a little kid running around with a pencil and a piece of torn paper to get their autographs, everyone stood there and signed what I wanted to sign and talked to anybody and everybody when the races were over. And then when I became a teenager, I volunteered, as most people do who love auto racing, to work in race shops locally. I worked for Tommy Houston as a volunteer. I worked for Harry Gann a little bit as a volunteer. And then then I started driving. I started helping a local hobby stock class guy named Jerry Setzer, and he didn't have any help. He had a little boy named Dennis Setzer. He was his youngest son. He would help move the lantern in the barn under the car. So I went over to help Jerry, and then the next year I drove the car. And then I went off to college and realized I couldn't be driving cars and racing. So Ned Jarrett, the promoter, so why don't you work in the tower with me? You love the sport, you know everybody. So I went upstairs in the tower at Hickory, and I ran the scoreboard and I ran the caution lights. And basically Ned was the announcer beside me. I was beside him, ran all the electronic stuff. And then beside me on the other side were two of the NASCAR chief stewards that ran the races. And one night Ned was gone. He was actually in Darlington to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And he had hired Barney Hall to come be the announcer that weekend, because Barney lived in Elkin, about an hour away. And because it was a huge night for racing at Hickory, everybody was going to be there. All the big names are going to be there. And Ned shows up at the big event in Darlington that night and sits down at his table, and he's introduced, looks up, and there's Barney Hall emceeing the event. He realizes Barney isn't going to be at Hickory, so he calls back. We've got a packed house. Ned's youngest son at the time, Dale Jarrett, came up and said, I'm not going to talk. And Dale was a little shy at the time. So he said, you've been sitting beside Dad all this time. You're going to be the announcer tonight. So I picked up the microphone, started talking, and we got through the show. And Ned gets back the next day and finds out that apparently it went pretty well, and says, why am I killing my voice here on Saturday nights and then having to go do MRN, or back then he was doing Universal Radio Network as well with Hal Hamrick. He said, why am I killing my voice when I could have you helping me? And that's really how it started. Ned was kind enough to, and I wasn't driving anymore. I was actually going to medical school, and I would zip up there on a Saturday night for a couple hours, and that got my mind off. It gave me the mental relaxation of being away from the hospital for a few hours and do something I loved. And so here I was doing PA announcing, and Ned dragged me along with him at some of the qualifying shows that he would do back before qualifying was live. He would do it on a local radio out of Statesville, North Carolina, a 50,000 watt FM station. And so we would pull that Bush van of his in on pit road, and he would sign on, and we'd do qualifying. He and I would do it together, and the drivers would qualify. Then they would just walk over when they got out of the car. Imagine that today. They would just walk over, and Kel Yarborough would jump in the van, talk for a while, and Richard Petty would jump in the van, talk for a while. Here's Pearson. And I remember at the end of the qualifying show, Ned had to go give the Bush Pole Award. That was one of his other jobs working for Anheuser-Busch. So I would usually end up the final 6 minutes of the show. I would do the show, and I would always have a driver with me. And usually that driver was a big station, driver Robbins. He would sit down with me because he was racing and country music and NASCAR and who won the and that all started. Doing some stuff with Ned. I owe him so much. And then he got me to MRN, and then ESPN called. So
you've had some big moments as far as being on pit road. I mean, I remember one time, I think you were there when Rusty Wallace flipped down the front straightaway at Bristol. I think you were there then, because I'm not sure. I might have my stories wrong. Uh-oh, we've lost you. Hey, Jerry, we've lost you on here. We've lost your feed. I mean, we see you, but it's kind of froze.
Yeah, I think the internet is.
Are you back with us now? We.
Just starting to get good. Still got it says your mic is off. Unmute mic. Yeah, it says your mic is not connected.
Oh, we've kind of lost you, Jerry.
Okay, how about now? You got me back?
It sounds like we got you.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. It might have been, I think, the internet here. Yeah. You got me okay now?
Yeah, we got
Sounds
you. We're
like
good.
it.
We're good. I was asking the question.
Yeah, the Bristol thing was a Friday night. The Bristol thing was a Friday night race where Rusty Wallace flipped in the afternoon, and the car somersaulted, and I happened to be standing a few feet away to take the interview. Lucky to be able to get Rusty out.
I think we've lost him again.
Yeah.
Hey, Jerry, we've lost you again. We'll try to reschedule this when we can get the internet better off. Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me either.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He's shaking his head. So. Yeah, yeah. Okay, we can't hear you, Doc. We'll have to. Yeah, he just lost it.
Man, it was getting good there, getting the story on that thing with Rusty. I was really excited about hearing that.
It was really neat to.
He's back on here.
I don't think he is. Yeah, it's still dark. Yeah, I just had to tell him next time that maybe he's if he can do it on his computer, he's just got to open it up in Chrome. You have to open it up in a Chrome browser; it works best. But it was really pretty cool. We'll have to. I mean, I think we could actually spend a whole hour talking to Jerry if he'd be willing to do it at another time and talk some old stories, or at least a good 30 minutes and some old stories. So I'm sure he's got some neat stories through the years.
I was really excited.
Where they are now.
I was really excited.
And then he could tell us why we need to get our vaccine.
Yeah.
So I got mine. I got my booster.
I got mine.
So Jerry, if you can hear us, we really appreciate you coming on, and we'd love to do it again sometime.
Shane Laws, I don't know. I have socks too. I got the socks, but I have to check and see if I got the sweater vest. I'm not as well versed in stuff like it that you are.
He doesn't look that good, Shane.
Whatever.
But good luck to Zacharias down there at Florence. Florence is such a cool racetrack. It's actually exciting to see what he can do with the place and turn the place around. And,
Well, he's got he's got his hands full this weekend.
sure,
He's got a big race coming up there, and he's got Shane Walls down there working.
wow,
Yeah, that's going
it's
to.
handicapped right there.
I know Shane said something when he was here. He might have Justin Nellis down there, and it just keeps getting worse from that point on.
That's like Step Brothers going down there.
And then you get Mark Wirtz going down there.
Well, at least they won't be hungry.
But anyway, look, Shane wants me to do the sweater vest and everything.
I want to see this.
Mark Wirtz said he wanted me to wear the shirt I had. So I'll print out pictures if they can send them out.
Absolutely.
That's why she won't see it. That's why she won't see it at all. Anyway, next week's show, somebody's not going to be with us next week.
I got something else to do.
That's what he says. We'll just take it for what it's worth. But anyway, I've got Brad Waltrip is coming on, U-Car driver. The guy that finished the Rookie of the Year in the U-Cars this year. I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
I don't know who that is.
I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Hayden Sheldon.
Okay.
Hayden Sheldon. And Leland Honeyman. And our special guest host.
This ought to be good.
Our special guest host taking your place. I was thinking of all the people. There he is. He's back. See if you got it.
How you doing, Doc?
I'm good. You hear me? I'm sorry about that. I thought here office at home you'd have, but I moved closer to our Wi-Fi here.
Okay. Well, no, you sound pretty good.
We're glad. We're glad. So go ahead and finish the story on Rusty because we didn't hear all of that.
Well, Rusty flipped. He cut a tire coming out of turn 4, hit the wall. The car, this Pontiac Grand Prix, sort of went nose first in the air like a punt, spiraling in the air, and then it hit and rolled side over side. Came to rest with the front of the car up on the pit wall, and the roof was caved in where he had been rolling. So we were running out there when the smoke cleared, trying to get to him, and the roof had pushed down and it bent the bar beside the door, and the bar was where the window net was going through. It also bent. We couldn't get that open, so I had to reach in and try to grab. I could see Rusty's uniform was not moving. Fortunately, he had an open face helmet on, so I was able to pull his airway and by pulling his jaw, but I could barely get my fingers to him. The only other car on the racetrack at the time was Dale Earnhardt Sr., and he stopped and runs over to the right, to the other side of the car and screaming, "What can I do? What can I do?" And I said, "We got to get this roof off so I can get to him and get an airway." So they began trying to cut the roof off while I'm holding his airway open, and they were holding caps over my face while they were sawing this thing so I wouldn't get burned from all the sparks from the saws. We got the roof up. I could get to him, got an airway, got him in the ambulance, and he was breathing and doing okay. Turns out what really happened was that during the break before going out to practice, he grabbed a ham sandwich and just inhaled it. And Richard Petty actually walked by him, and this is what Rusty told me in hindsight, and said, "Boy, you don't need to be eating that ham sandwich and then go and climb in a race car. What happens if you hit something that," and sure enough, that's what happened. When he tumbled, the ham sandwich came back up in his esophagus and sort of blocked his airway, and he had no airway, and so we got lucky. But Rusty went to the hospital that night. After we got him in the ambulance a little bit, he went on to the hospital and was admitted for the evening, and I had to stay and do the bush race. And right before the bush race started, I'll never forget, I'm standing on pit road, and Dale Earnhardt Sr. is actually running in the bush race that night. He walks down to me and he says, "Hey, Doc, you know what?" He says, "You might have just saved Rusty Wallace's life tonight." And I just looked at him and he said, "Why would you do that? Why would anybody do that?" So, yeah, and of course Dale was joking. They were buddies. But I did get a message because Rusty called the racetrack. They put him through to the TV truck, and they told me during commercial, "Rusty says, tell you I'm okay, and thank you so much." So, but then he said, "By the way, tell Doc he looks terrible. I had soot and flakes from the race car all over my face and my hair, everything when they sawed the roof off." But I'm glad Rusty was okay.
When you were, I mean, being a doctor and everything, when you were on pit road, I guess instances like this came up from time to time where you were there at the right time to be able to help people.
Yeah, I was an ER. Well, still am. I'm an emergency medicine doctor in Florida. I had my own ER group, and so I would go to the racetrack, and because I'm an ER doctor, because I was blessed to have great relationships with the drivers. They felt comfortable to come to me, knowing that there was professional confidence and confidentiality. So they would ask me tough questions about things that were going on with them medically, and I had lots of things happen. I had a points leader, a guy leading the NASCAR Winston Cup points at the time, calls me at 3:00 in the morning, and he's having a gallbladder attack. He's curled up in the floor of his hotel room, dripping wet, and we have to get him treated and get that handled. And we got the helicopter that was coming in the next day to this short track at North Wilkesboro Speedway to bring some medication to get him hydrated. And then he got in the car, and no one was ever the wiser. That kind of stuff happened, and I was flattered and honored that they trusted me enough to do that, to talk to them and to treat them. And I also told them, I'll never let you compromise your health or anybody else's health on the racetrack. So if I think you're really not going to be able to drive, I'll go to NASCAR, and we'll make sure they don't let you get in the car. So that was our agreement. They trusted my opinion and my advice, and I gave them the best care I could as a doctor and as a friend.
Well, that had to be interesting to be in that position with some of these guys. Their number one thought is, I got to get in that car. But I know, sometimes you got to use the better judgment, and having that relationship with them had to be something that you were proud that they would at least listen to you about it.
Well, it was, and also, I'm a broadcaster too, so I'm not there. I'm there for ESPN, but I've also told ESPN I'm never going to compromise my integrity I'm a medical doctor. That's what I do for a living, and my relationship with these drivers. So by the drivers feeling comfortable to tell me medical problems, I knew that I wasn't ever going to divulge anything out. I wasn't going to go on the air and try to be a hero and say, I just found out so and so and so. No, I didn't do that. But if I ask a driver to help me out with giving me the story, what's happening or what's happened to the team, they were always very helpful. And was helping and help you or think.
So do you have a favorite moment, Doc?
Oh boy, so many, but probably that last race in '92 at Atlanta, where Alan Kowicki, won the championship, and he was one of 6 drivers that could have won it that day, and the ultimate under champion.
Doc, we can't hear you.
I think we've lost you again. All right. Well, we'll get back with Doc Punch again.
Yeah, we're not hearing anything, Doc. We'll have to reschedule something here. We appreciate it, Doc. Really cool. Really can't thank him enough. It's an honor that he
took the time to even talk to us on this format.
Absolutely. And like we had said a few minutes ago, I mean, some of the stories that he's got and could tell, and it sounds like he likes to tell his stories. So I think it would be really cool to have him back and tell some stories, and obviously around his work schedule and that kind of stuff. Really neat, and we appreciate it. It's a big deal to us. I know he doesn't think he's a big deal, but
he is a big deal. I mean, it's like I told him when I talked on the phone with him or whatever, he's still considered an icon in the sport.
For sure.
As an announcer, but as 100%. Being a part of the sport. He's a big part of the sport, and regardless of what he did.
And the good, and the, to me, I don't want to say peaks. I hope we'll never hit a peak. But it was some really good years that he was involved with the sport. So it was a great asset for the sport. And it was pretty cool that a lot of the drivers confided in him and things. And I mean, NASCAR benefited big from that because, they used to always, they had made comments, and we've heard comments in the earlier years where it was nice to have, his racetrack, and there was always a doctor on,
Well,
around that. If something's going on, he was there to answer those questions, and that's a really big asset.
well, anyway, that's our show for tonight. Appreciate everybody being here, and man, I really thank Dr. Jerry Punch. I'm gonna contact him again, and I'm gonna reschedule him to come back on the show again, and maybe we can figure it out, and where we can keep him on here the whole time this time.
Yeah,
But
it's just some internet issues.
But
I'm
anyway,
sure
it's
at
really
his house or
what a
something.
wonderful thing to have him come on our show, and that's a big deal.
Absolutely.
But anyway, I was gonna finish up next week. My guest.
Oh yeah,
host.
you didn't even say.
I didn't say who it was. Well, I'm gonna put it like this.
Does he do pressure washing?
Well, yeah, but he's really big in TikTok.
Yeah.
And so
He's got a couple 100,000 followers.
So I figured to replace you, I need to get somebody.
You need a bigger monkey.
Yeah, I need somebody that could do it. He'd be here, and Well, really, what I said when I told him I wanted him, I needed a bigger smartass than what I had.
He can feel it pretty good.
So anyway,
Hunter Waltrip. for the people.
Hey, Shane, you gonna hook me up with some of these breakfast sandwiches on Friday morning, or Saturday morning?
Breakfast sandwich.
Mm-hmm. So Steve has the best breakfast sandwiches.
Huh.
So
I look forward to seeing the video. I'll be in a meeting, so I won't be able to see what's going on. But it'll be interesting. Hunter's a funny dude. I like. It's funny because they all laughed about it when I came up here and was announcing with what's his name and I said, Hunter, he's a much better comedian than he is a driver. He's pretty funny.
well, that's what I'm hoping for next week.
I'm gonna tell him I look forward to some funny TikToks. We're gonna come in and do some funny TikToks with Jack.
All right, well, that's our show for this week. We'll talk to you again next week. Thanks for tuning in and share and like our show. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.